when you're in that right state, that can be achieved through, questioning, where have I let myself go? How can I sort of get to that right state, if you will? And then now what action do I want to take from that right state to, sort of right this ship, if you will, if we want to judge it as being wrong. But how do we right this ship of what appears to be very much an authoritarian world that's unfolding before our eyes, right? That's kind of how I look at things. I look at it from a standpoint of the stuff happens simultaneously. There's a transformational pull that we're asked to follow, and we follow that, and then from a new state of being, a new state of consciousness, hopefully with many of us in a collective operating from that place, well, how do we want to act now? How do we want to look now? And if our current situation is this, what actions do we need to take now that also builds the world that we want to see? It doesn't just seek to destroy the one that we have now per se, but it says, how do we transition to the world we know is possible based on what we're tuning into, given the state of the world now? So that's kind of what I would sort of throw on there. But the question is, because when I would say stuff like that, people would come back to me and go, nah, you know what? This is a matter of, we don't have enough men being men out there taking up arms and going and fighting and taking back our world that, we need, blah, blah, blah. And if we're all just sitting here, trying to worry about love, trying to worry about, our hearts, then we're not going to get anywhere. And next thing you know, we'll all be in, a terrible situation. And I get that feeling. I do. I'm curious how you would respond to that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I wonder about that a lot myself.
Well, I got a gun right here. I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, if it is some sort of like video game or like virtual reality kind of thing, maybe you win that way, but you could look at like, who knows if history is even real if we live in a virtual reality, but as so much of this cycle of this happening, that do you want to be, is it just that the cycle is going to continue, happened before, it's happening now, will continue to happen? This is the sort of Thomas Jefferson picture of the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. Our founders in the States anyway felt that was the answer. It's eternal vigilance. It's consistent fighting in this cycle. And it makes perfect sense on one level. But, you and I are people that want to think about breaking cycles. And, that's the good guy, bad guy cycle is a cycle. Or like the tyrant populism cycle is this cycle. And I just don't really think that it's going to be broken with violence and revolution. There's definitely, the world is going to be more and more chaotic, right? And so there's, to some extent, this stuff is just going to happen. You can even see it happening in the other world, but I don't know. I think that there are like sort of, I don't know. I wonder about this a lot too. For me, it's important to really believe or to see the possibilities of peaceful resolutions and like a peaceful world, and to reframe, maybe choose the bubble reality you're living in, where there are two different perspectives on the same set of phenomena. And one bubble reality is that it's really tyrannical, and the peace and order that we lived in is breaking down, and everything's chaotic, and we're all gonna things crashing. And another way to look at it is the the world that we're going into is so bright and beautiful, and is punctuated by new technologies and fantastic new ways of thinking and being. And it's so out there in an awesome way that it's rather at odds with the current state. And we're all stakeholders of the world as it is. Like, let's be clear about that. We all have, at some level, we're big stakeholders. And so, we have to, it's important for each of us to permit ourselves, to allow ourselves to live in that world and for that world to unfold, and to see how everything that's happening is a necessary process for us to get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I'm relating to it.
Is there that little light of intuition somewhere, that feeling somewhere within you that says, you know what, maybe it is time to break the cycle? And if you can sit with that light and let that grow and let it get bright enough to see what it might be telling you to do, what it might be telling you to how to, maybe to act, or to even something to look into, or whatever it might be, can you sit with that little light and see what happens if you let it grow? That's all I would say to add to that. Thanks so much for watching this clip. You can listen to this full episode via the link in the description below. It's also available anywhere you currently get your podcasts. If you want to support this podcast and watch this full episode on video, consider becoming a member of our Explorer Lounge. As a member, you get access to exclusive video content. You can watch full episodes just like this, ad-free, and you get access to a private social network where you can discuss and learn about many topics with a like-minded community of changemakers. Being an Explorer Lounge member brings you great benefits, plus you're directly supporting our dedicated team here at Collective Evolution and The Pulse.